Let us explore this Dusk's meditation class and group practice, that we too could meditate like a Jedi. This evening's lesson is based upon the 35th passage of the meditation classic, The Unwaning Victory Banner, composed oh so many centuries ago by the great Buddhist reformer Vajra. Together let us relaxingly recite. As the ultimate nature cannot be defined, it may appear in the way it is perceived. The duality of striving for appearances and delighting in appearances is a great defect and an obstacle. So we see the phrase ultimate nature. How's about some background? Many centuries ago, the great South Indian Buddhist philosopher Nagarjuna explained that there is the conventional and the ultimate, and that one is not better than the other. In fact, it was later explained by the late former head of Tibet's Nyingma order that just as a bird cannot take to the sky with only one wing, similarly, we cannot take to nirvana or ascend to nirvana with only the conventional or the ultimate. We need both. Okay, but that still fails to answer the question, what is the conventional and what is the ultimate? And to explain that, I'm going to have to switch slides. The seventh fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is mindfulness, or sati if you like Sanskrit, or Pali. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to automatically access our spinal cord, also known as our autonomic nervous system. So the part that we access during our inhalation is the middle bit, known as the sympathetic aspect. And it is wired to help us to notice in a very special way. It is wired to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. It's wired to help us to notice all manner of phenomena. Everything, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque, including perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. What do we notice? That which we notice is described as the conventional. What do we do with that which we notice? The eighth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path is meditation, which is also known as samadhi. Every time we exhale, we are wired to automatically access the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the top bit and the bottom bit of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining. Now, if you are comfortable with figures of speech, as we relax into our exhalation, That which we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Now, any good English teacher could remind us that a simile is only as useful as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? Well, how about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could look tantalizing to the eye, feels non-graspable to the hand. That is our experience of the ultimate. The easiest way to experience the conventional is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel our diaphragm flex downward during our inhalation. The easiest way for us to experience the ultimate is for us to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease each time we feel our diaphragm relax up during our exhalation. Now that we have a rudimentary understanding of the conventional and the ultimate, let's return to this evening's lesson text. As the ultimate nature cannot be defined, it may appear in the way it is perceived. In other words, consider the old Kung Fu aphorism. Before I studied Kung Fu, a punch was just a punch. While studying Kung Fu, a punch became everything. After mastering Kung Fu, a punch? It was just a punch. Similarly, as we breathe in, we might notice a tree. As we breathe out, we might notice that same tree. The difference is, as we are breathing in, we are perceiving it, whether we want to or not. And as we breathe out, we are relaxing and releasing, whether we want to or not. The only variable is whether or not we're going to actively compete against our autonomic nervous system and resist the whole process, or passively cooperate with it. That's the only variable. Most of these 55 passages of this text can be taken individually as little nuggets to savor before you sit in meditation. Let us continue. The duality of striving for appearances and delighting in appearances is a great defect and an obstacle. The sixth fold of the Buddha's eightfold path is right effort. Now, there are two perspectives with which to view right effort. From the perspective of yang or yin, from the perspective of religious patriarchy or spiritual matriarchy, from the perspective of the Buddha, or from the perspective of the Buddha's rather foolish cousin. From the perspective of the Buddha's foolish cousin, right effort, we view right effort through the lens of being rigid and fearful and superstitious and controlling and elitist and cryptic and competitive and cruel. And we just are reminded of the terrible adage we were exposed to in the 80s. If it's to be, it's up to me, and other pieces of malarkey. However, when we view right effort through the lens of being flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind, then we see that the right effort is the effortless effort of having our choices, utterances, and deeds flow, not from scattered spontaneity, but from centered spontaneity, the exact same centered spontaneity that is the effortless byproduct of our practice of mindfulness and meditation. Even if we practice as little as 5 minutes as 5 minutes every 12 hours or so. Going back to this evening's root text. Trying to control our experience won't work. Indulging our controlling tendencies is going to cause us to present with symptoms of depression and trigger our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. Putting aside striving and just flowing, just practicing mindfulness and meditation vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly is going to help us to pacify our anxiety, to pacify our aggression, to increase our peace, our contentment, our compassion, and our ability to cooperate. These things blend synergistically to help us lead a life that is profoundly fulfilling. Having completed our opening lesson, we can now shift gears. It is Ahsoka Tano Thursday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Sende Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus so that I could spend about 8 hours a day almost every day studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this evening's live stream, let's play with the latest iteration of Very Easy Meditation Practice Text, which is available like everything else I work with, which is available just like the opening lesson text was for free download. Going to adjust my legs. The easiest way to keep track of our first collection of 144 inhalations is for us to rest the first knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. An easy way for us to keep track of our next 12 inhalations is for us to make use of the 3 sets of creases upon each of the 4 fingers of our right hand. Upon the 3 sets of creases of each of the 4 fingers of our left hand, we could count the 12 sets of 12 inhalations each for a total of 144. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. My only request is that you be as specific as possible, and you do not start typing your next question until I've concluded my explanation of your first question. I'm terribly congested. I'm going to have to put on a vapor mask. Please bear with me. I know this looks silly, but I've dropped essential oil into this mask, and it really helps. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 and a half hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's dawn meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.